And I hate to say this, and I hate to even see it, but how can you watch your mom die from sugar diabetes? Your dad die from high blood pressure. Your uncle die from being obese. You watching these things and do nothing about it. You watching these things and still have the same approach to food. You still eating the same thing that Big Mama ate, like year after year, weekend after weekend, day after day after day. And how can you expect nothing to happen to you?
Thanks again for joining us this week. We are continuing the conversation about health, fitness, nutrition, and overall wellness. I'm joined today by my resident co-host, Jabari Pride, by comedian extraordinaire and co-host of the Steve Harvey Morning Show, Mr. Kia Jr. Spates. And our expert this week is Chester Lacey, a man who has committed himself to combating laziness, disease, and just overall complacency in not just himself, but everyone around him. He has been a competitor, a bodybuilder, an inspiration, and quite frankly, a leader in his space. Speaking of overall wellness, not sure if you knew this, but you can get your DNA tested for weight loss so you can have the best path forward, or even skincare. So whether you're seeking a paternity test or just DNA confirmation for immigration, legal, or other family reasons, visit onsitelabs.net. That's ONSITE labs.net for all your genetics and DNA testing. They got you covered. Please remember that this is a continuing conversation, so be sure to go back and listen to last week's episode, part 1, for this to make sense. Welcome to Manhood Matters, where we have real conversations regarding real issues with real people with real experience. Let's get to it.
The reason being, you gotta think about this. You've been cheating your whole life. Before you got to me, you've been cheating.
Damn.
Damn, you asking me for a cheat meal already? How old is you?
Man.
You're 46 years old. You've been cheating for 46 years. Now you want to get serious. You talking about Chester, so when I'm gonna get a cheat day? Huh?
Yeah.
Show me you could lose 40 pounds and then I'll give you one.
Gotcha.
Show me you could lose 30 pounds and I'll give you one. Show me you could drop 15 pounds and I'll give you one. Show me something first.
Gotcha.
Don't ask me for nothing.
I love that. So give me some so I can give you back something.
Because let me tell you something. In that discipline, in you going that way, you know what's going to happen?
You don't want it.
You're going to say, fuck that cheat meal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you're going to say to yourself, I'm looking this good by doing this. Hell no, I ain't finna eat that bullshit.
Yeah.
I can see my ass.
I can't get fined right now. I'm talking about fat folk all day. Fat ass out my way.
You're going to be on there with your shirt on.
I ain't even buying shirts no more.
You're going to be out there with Steve Harvey just button up, just wide open.
Everything I wear is a vest.
Everything tailored.
Well, I'm telling you right now, Chess, let's get this done, Chess.
And I promise you, man, it's going to happen for you, brother. I promise. But yeah, man, I say that to say because you got to think about this. If mentally I'm already thinking about a cheat meal, I'm not thinking about the goal.
Well, it's what's been fed to us for a long time. Because here's the thing, right? We hear, how do you do this? And you can remain disciplined in a way where you don't have that craving. So,
all right, so
do
this is
I
how.
give in to that craving, but I limit it to one day or whatever it may be?
So watch this. Once you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit, right?
Yes, sir.
So after that 21 days of you doing that, you have done a phenomenal job. If you did what you're supposed to do, you're going to be down 10, 15, 20. It just depends on.
Or gaining, if that's your goal.
It just depends on your level of seriousness. I tell people this all the time. I'm going to give you everything to set you up for success to the point where if it don't work, I'll give you your money back. I'm going to give you your meal plan, your water regimen, and a cardio regimen. everything designed to get you towards the goal, right? Mm-hmm. And if you do everything I'm requesting of you to do and you do not change, here go your money. That's how sure I am of what I do.
Right, but they have to do their part.
You saying they got to do their, yeah.
That's all you got to do is do the homework.
Let me ask you this. What's an easy way for men to start, men in particular, without feeling overwhelmed? There's someone who hasn't done shit in a super long time, whether they're obese or whether they're just like too small, whatever, wherever they fall on the spectrum. What can they what can they do?
Yeah.
What
To
small
start
steps
somewhere?
can they do to start somewhere? Let's say they don't have a trainer. Let's say not everybody could get to Chester, right? What can they do to move and not feel overwhelmed?
Walking.
Yeah.
I do that.
But see, at a certain point, after the age of 60, the only thing that's going to be important is strength training. So you're going to have to find your way to the gym. If you're a silver sneaker and you're 60 years old, find your way to the gym. Because everyone after the age of 60 or higher, you're going to start running into spells of syncope. Those are dizzy spells. And those are spells where you end up falling and fracturing your face, hip, thigh, knee, or whatever. The only way to slow that process down is by strength training. Mm-hmm. Because what will happen is if you do not do any strength training leading up to that age, when you fall, you ain't going to even be able to pick yourself up. Mm. You hit that floor, you're going to be sliding into the front door because you can't even pick yourself up off the ground.
Mm. Is there a point of no return for some people in your opinion?
No, I feel like long as you living and breathing, there's always an opportunity. That's because I solely believe in mankind. I've seen so many stories. I've seen so many testimonies. I've seen a lady get started at 70 years old and was a big obese lady. Mm-hmm. And 4 years down the line, she was slim and in shape and lifting more than some young people. So at the end of the day, no, you cannot make excuses for life.
Yeah.
You just have to find a way to get it done. Me, that's my motto. Don't give me no excuse. Find a way to get that shit done. I don't care if you got to go at fucking 11 o'clock at night. I don't care if you got to go at 12 o'clock in the morning. I don't care if you got to go I wake up at 3 a.m. Me.
You sound like E.T. right now, bro.
Right, serious,
I wake up at 3 a.m. Yeah. Me. Going in my garage to do cardio and doing fasted abs in the morning. Me. Because I want to look like something. It ain't for nobody in my house. It ain't for nobody on this podcast. It ain't for nobody in this. It's for me. This is how Chess want to look.
Well, how you show up is so critical. Because I will tell you, man, even in what we do, Jabari, we show up and we meet people. Whether it's a business meeting, whether it's a sales presentation, I am treated different based on the way I look. I'm in shape when I go shake someone's hand. Everything matters, right? And you show up and you look disciplined. That's all they see about you. They're like, this person is committed to something, right? You show someone shows up in a business meeting and they're like ripped. The first thing you think about is, well, that's not something you're born with. This is something you work towards. So this person is committed to excellence.
Your respect level for somebody who looks the part is going to be totally different. And watch this. They may not even have the knowledge.
Wow.
Yeah. They're just doing the work. Just grinding.
Yeah. They may not even have the knowledge, but based off their appearance alone, you're going to give them the attention.
Yeah. Yeah. So I asked you this question earlier. You never got a chance to answer it because I cut you off. My bad. Talk to me about fasting. We talked about nutrition. Talk to me about fasting because that has to
So I, me personally, I believe in fasting to a certain point, but I don't believe in fasting like 6 to 9 hours or not like that. Me personally, when I first wake up, if I'm waking up at 3 o'clock, I will fast about 4, about 5 o'clock or maybe 6. But in that time I'm fasting, I'm drinking a copious amounts of water. So I'm trying to flush. I'm trying to push out everything from the night before if it didn't come out and everything in that morning. So when I start eating my food, because I know if I drink 16 ounces of water, it's going to automatically speed up the metabolism. So I'm already putting fire on the wood immediately once I start drinking that water. So then once I eat my first meal, it's going to absorb all the nutrients and it's going to go to all the right places. So fasting is good, but it's based off how you come off the fast. You can't fast 6 to 9 hours and then go right to McDonald's. It's not smart and it's not going to help you.
Man.
What about fasting? People who fast a couple of days, for example, like my wife's done it. She does a lot of research on that stuff. Santana's done it. Hell, they try to kill me, trying to get me to do it for one day. I almost died. 36 hours fasting. This stuff that they do routinely.
What?
Yeah.
It is studies that prove it does work.
Yeah.
And I just don't have as much information in relations to that. But also at the same time, I would say this. Sometimes people fast for religious purposes, and I respect that. I will never go against anybody fasting for religious purposes or religious reasons or anything like that. So whatever they're doing to make them feel better spiritually, and if it's making them feel more whole, then I'm all for that. So me with the health, you could disregard that. When it comes to the spirit and the word of God, I'm all for whatever you feel like you need to do to get closer to the spirit and to the word or to whatever your belief system is. I'm all for that. Yeah. But in reference to the fasting, like I said, it's good to a certain extent. But for me, I just feel like I don't have as much information on that side. But also at the same time, I just feel like, how am I going to be able to get the proper nutrition for my body if I'm fasting 6 to 9 hours a day? And then when is my last meal going to be?
Yeah, I'm not the Lord.
No, we're talking days. Like people who take it seriously. Even again, talking to Santana, he's like, even every 30 days or so, it'll be either a 24-hour fast, sometimes a 36-hour fast.
This is fasting is some crazy thing I'm doing. Just if it's not for religious purposes, why would I give up
food?
Me too.
A chicken sandwich because I believe that.
Well, it's not.
Well, what is it?
It's not religious.
I know what I'm saying.
For them, they're doing it because of health reasons. Because again,
but I'm gonna do some research on that, and the next time I come on this podcast, I have more information for you about it. But I need to understand what's the purpose behind. Because I agree with you. It's like if the body is without nutrition, where is the nutrition coming from? If I've been fasting for 24, 36, or 72 hours, am I putting my body in such a deficit to the point where I cannot move? Am I weak? Am I lethargic? What am I? I mean, at the end of the day.
Are they just trying to jumpstart ketosis, you think?
I think that too, because I think sometimes
for sure. She's actually
you can
been
fast
testing it too.
to reset your system. I know that, but I also know that you could do 3 days no carbs, and that resets the digestive system. So
can you explain ketosis, just in case people are listening? They're like, I have no idea what ketosis means.
I'm sitting here and didn't know what it is. Where about people listening? I'm sitting my ass right there, didn't know what it was.
I'm saying the same thing. What?
So my understanding of ketosis is when you start to starve your body, it starts to burn, instead of burning what it normally burns, let's say the simple carbohydrates, it starts burning the more complex stuff. So the fat that you're storing, you burn off all the silly stuff. So now your body's like, we don't have anything. All it has to do
is to burn off.
So now I got to go into the deep freezer.
Yeah.
And I got to start pulling the meat out of the deep freezer and start burning that up.
In my opinion, the ketosis thing is just like doing fasted cardio. Fasted cardio and nighttime cardio will be almost like doing the same thing.
So you said fasted cardio?
Fasted cardio,
what
meaning the only way for the body to truly be fasted, you have to be done eating for 8 to 9 hours. So whatever your last meal is, you need to be 8 to 9 hours before you wake up and do whatever. So it's say I stop eating at 12, wake up at 8 o'clock, I'm fasted. That means there's nothing in my system because my body is ridding and burning everything off before I wake up. So that's why immediately when you wake up, sometimes you might do 1, 2, sometimes 3 to the bathroom. After you finish completely using the bathroom, I don't know, for some reason I could use the bathroom 2 times. And as soon as I get in the shower, I got to use it again. I don't know what the hell that's about. But so after my third time, I'll
tell you what's about washing your ass. Forget the fitness part. This is about bathing, damn.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, after I get out of the shower, after that third time, that's when you want to weigh yourself because that's when you're at your true weight. The moment you finish using the bathroom completely, that's when you're at your true weight. That's just something to remember.
Yeah.
But then my body is completely rid of everything, and now I'm ready to go do fasted cardio. So the fasted cardio is going to burn directly on body fat because it ain't nothing else in here. That's why doing fasted cardio is so good, and doing fasted abs is so good because it's nothing in the system to impede you from developing these muscles right here because there's no carbohydrates in there. There's really nothing in there. and then I'm just focused on centrally burning body fat. To burn body fat is slow resistance, long duration. Slow resistance meaning like I could just be walking, but it has to be a long duration. And that's I would say that the terrain cannot change. Like, so it need to be on a 3 incline, 30 minutes, speed 2. I'm gonna hit after 12 to 20 minutes of exercise, you burn through all your carbohydrates, your sugar, and the only energy source to be used after that 12 to 20 minutes is fat. So that's when, after that 12 to 20 minutes, I'm in a fat burning zone. Mm-hmm. So that's why most of the time when you're doing your cardio, you won't notice you start burning or sweating until after 12, 15 to 20 minutes sometimes.
Yeah.
Me, it's like 13 or 12 for me. As soon as I hit 12, I start sweating. But that's because everything is burned off. Now I'm in that fat burning. I'm in that fat burning zone. But, you know, it's just so many factors when it comes to all of that. And so...
Do you have to have your heart rate at a certain zone as well?
It does. Okay. And that's what I was just going to say. Because it's got to like be over like 100 for a certain age. Like 109 to 110 is like 40s or something like that. Mm-hmm. And 50s is just a little bit higher. But they have the sensors on here. Mm-hmm. So, but the majority of the time, the higher you take the incline, the more the heart rate going to go up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You don't necessarily have to put the speed up so high. But what I try and challenge people to do is try not to use the handrails. So put it at a speed where you could not have to use the handrails and just do it like that. But back to your question, yes, I do believe that, like you said, the fasting is the purpose of them doing that is to get some of that fat that they is hard to target, to concentrate on that. And I think that's the purpose of doing that for sure.
Got it.
Now that you say that, I know for a fact that's the reason why people are doing it. Because if it's not for a religious purpose, it's solely to reset the system and to centralize fat burn in those stubborn areas.
But then when you come off that fast, you can't just go right back to McDonald's.
Hell
right?
no.
So like, what's the
McDonald's,
first?
Why not? Who said? Is it a rule?
Yeah.
Well, it'll mess your stomach up for one. And you'll start throwing up.
So what's the first thing? You should probably like
water
and
something simple like
fruits, vegetables.
Yeah, water, fruits, vegetables, mild fruit, vegetables, and then just start slowly implementing it to your system. Don't try and have a full meal. Just kind of like,
got it.
You know, slowly introduce it, and then once the metabolism cranks up, you'll know when it's time to eat for sure.
Chester, our community is struggling with diabetes and all kinds of things. You know, you mentioned something to me that I haven't heard you mention here in the podcast. So I'll say because that line stuck with me. You said that for us and a lot of people in our community, health, fitness, wellness is an option.
Oh yes.
Whereas with other communities, it is a responsibility. It's a requirement. It's a must. Yeah. Not an option. It's just something to do. So have you found that there are cultural, societal challenges that make us think that way? And how do we kind of like help people get on the right path?
I think, to be honest with you, due to history and due to what has happened to our people over the years, it has created a mindset in which we feel like, for one, we're invincible, and for two, that
ain't nothing gonna happen to me.
Yeah,
yeah.
And for two, that things are optional. And I hate to say this, and I hate to even see it, but how can you watch your mom die from sugar diabetes, your dad die from high blood pressure, your uncle die from being obese? You watching these things and do nothing about it. You watching these things and still have the same approach to food. You still eating the same thing that Big Mama ate, like year after year, weekend after weekend, day after day after day. And how can you expect nothing to happen to you? And that's the problem in our community. Because we feel invincible, it ain't gonna happen to me. I watched the podcast. I mean, not the podcast, but I watched the Netflix documentary of Jamie Foxx, and that was his first thing he said. Man, this me, man. This Jamie Foxx, man. How this gonna happen to me?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's because we believe that we could just go about life and doing whatever we want to do, and ain't nothing gonna happen. You cannot sit here and tell me you're gonna eat the same thing that you've ate since. And I say this because you don't really remember what you've been eating at 1 year old, but I'm gonna say since the age of 10 years old all the way up to 40 years old, and you feel like that is not gonna affect you at all. You've been having the same health habits, and you take the same approach for food since from 10 to 40, and you feel like you're not going to have no health conditions, you ain't going to have no sugar diabetes, you ain't going to have no high blood pressure, you only drink a cup of water a day.
Yeah.
You love sweets. You got a desk job where you sitting there and you getting big back. I'm talking about Cadillac back. Because they bringing in desserts and they having potlucks and they bringing in pies and the vendors bringing in stuff. You just eating and sitting and eating and sitting. And you expect nothing to happen. And see, the danger in it all is this. We put more value on the job than we do our body. I got to get to work. But you got... I mean, man, it'd be so sad. Your shirt's getting bigger and the pants getting bigger too. Man, it's so crazy. I lived in Ohio for 4 years. I was topping the region out there as a personal trainer. I trained so many people, open heart surgeons, doctors, lawyers. I was training some of the most influential people in the community. And they value me because they knew I knew what I was doing, for one. And then for two, they knew I was passionate about it. But when I came back here to visit from time to time, and I go to see people at my old church and stuff like that, and I'm sitting here like, every year these folk getting bigger and bigger.
We need to forget that. We need some more room.
I mean, and that, you know,
they said the shoulder.
Boy, that jump right there, it blow my mind.
Yeah.
I say, you just don't notice that neck getting thicker and thicker, do you? But some people just don't take it serious. They don't take it serious until the doctor tell them. And I'm going to be honest with you, by the time the doctor tell you that you have a condition, you still ain't going to change. Mm-hmm. Because your body and your mind, you're so used to being a certain way. If the doctor tell you got to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, you just going to go on and die. Because you're so used to having that habit, yeah.
That's where we at.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but it's like us as a community, we got to make it more important because, like I said, everybody holds a very important part in each family that you're in. And if something was to happen to any person in that family who is a very valuable person, it's going to shake up the whole family. And like I said, and like you've heard on this podcast, you've heard, it's only an emergency to us. It's not an emergency to them people coming to your house. It's not an emergency to that doctor or that nurse. It's just another job. You got to take care of you. You have to be serious about you. Because they not going to be.
That's powerful, bro.
Yeah, man. Let me ask a question, man, like about some of the things that be like, we stroking out, man. What, stress and, that's why we work out, like to relieve the stress.
Because a lot of times when you do not have an outlet, your body is like a tea kettle filling up with pressure. If it don't come out, it's going to come out on somebody. And the majority of the time it come out on somebody that we truly love. So we burning bridges because we have no outlet. We burning bridges with our daughters, our sons, our wives, our brothers, because we so frustrated with all this pent up frustration because we have no outlet. We getting bigger and bigger. My foot's starting to hurt and I don't want to go to the doctor. It's sad, but that's what I'm saying. It's not an option. It should be a mandatory thing in our community, especially how we have been brought into this society. We need to be more serious about what we're doing so we can stay in the society. Ultimately, man, you got to understand, since the beginning of time, they've been talking about population control. This is all a game that we're in. It's population control. If we make the food where it's so addictive to the point where you can't have just one cookie.
I can't.
You going to have 3, 4, or 5?
Yes.
We did that on purpose.
Wow.
We're doing this stuff on purpose. COVID was on purpose. Yeah, it was an emergency to you, but it's not an emergency to them. They just throwing your body in the back of the damn building. And the reason why America got rocked by it so much is because our level of immunity is down. Most people, if 90% of America are obese, any virus that comes through the United States is going to rock a whole bunch of people. And what that's going to do in return, minimize the population, because they already feel like it's not enough food to feed the people. So we have to find ways to minimize the population. Viruses, disease, illnesses, food.
There's something you just said a little while ago. I don't think that we as black men ever really take seriously. We don't really think about it. Is how the people will be impacted. People who count on us, wives, our kids, hell, mom, other people who are looking to you in a certain way, and we're not taking care of this one human that we're in charge of taking care of. Now, what do you think that is? What do you think we resist that so much as men? Is it what you talked about? Is it just this feeling of being invincible?
I truly believe it's a feeling of being invincible, or this can't happen to me. But see,
or do we just worry about ourselves last?
No,
because I find that sometimes
I
that's what it
just
is.
feel like
I don't even think about me, bro. Sometimes I find that as a challenge. Like, I'm thinking about everybody else. I'm thinking about what I got to do, and like I told you earlier in the show, like I was just saying, like, like where I've been mentally, it's go, trying to figure some shit out, trying to solve some other issue, but I'm not thinking about me at all. I got shit that hurts. It's funny, you look at me, you'd be like, you're a trainer, you could probably pick it out. But a lot of people will look at me and they go, oh, he's in shape. And just the other day, I was like that tea kettle. I just felt like this urge. I'm not a runner. I hate running, right? I play sports not to run, if that makes sense. Like, I'll play soccer because there's a goal. I run for 90 minutes, but me just running, I don't like doing it. And I had the urge. It was like some spiritual calling to me saying, you need to go run to let this shit out. And I ran, I got to my front gate and I was winded. Now, normally, if I didn't test this, I go play soccer tomorrow. You'd be like, oh, there's a game, pickup game. Yeah, let's go. I'm going to kill these dudes. That's the way I'd be thinking about it. But I actually ran to my gate, and my goal was to go, up the street. I got to my gate. I was like, shit, this is the first time. And so it was reality setting in for me saying, you've neglected yourself. You've neglected your body. You've not taken care of yourself. You haven't done anything. How dare you think you can just get up, pick it up? I thought I could just pick it up where I left it off. I left it. I was just like, I can just go run a few miles right now, not a problem. And then I got to my gate and I was like, I'm tired. I ran up the street. I had an excuse, right? Because I turned right. I started going, and you see how it's like a dead end. It's all like forest and shit. I ran up here and I heard a dog barking. I was like, I'm gonna get bit by a dog. I ran back home.
Right. Safety.
I was like, there's my excuse. I need an excuse. I was like, I'm gonna run back home, man.
I think it is to do that, man. Like, it has a lot to do with us black men always having to take care of everybody. Like, like my father, back in 2017, he had a heart attack, right? Father, he worked for Southwestern Bell, or AT&T, actually, 45 years, retired. He actually do and my father got different type of strength. Like, he ain't working out type of strength, but my dad goddamn strong. Like, if he want to hug your
strength.
ass, you're not finna resist. I'm telling you. And I'm telling you, like, it's like, even for him, man, like, he had a heart attack, man. And it really hit me really hard, because I'm like, wait a minute.
He's solid.
No, not him. That's Superman.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
so when you said that, like, this is not gonna happen to me, that's a real mentality. Like, that's some wrong. Like, I got to think about that. And I'm with you, Stefan. I mean, I'm just saying. The other day, man, I was with wrong the other day when I was talking about it. This was wrong with you, Walrus. I filled up. I was full too.
Part of the reason we do this podcast too is we connect people, man. Ain't crazy?
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, it's like, so far it's only been a few episodes and we just have people meeting each other and connecting. So, I'm blessed to have people in my life. Like, I have Jabari in my life who connect me to you.
Right.
And then Santana connected me to you, and now you guys are connected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the reason why me and Santana, I've been knowing Santana over 10 years. Mm-hmm. We served as armor bearers for our bishop. We did security for the bishop at the time. And me and Santana, we've always had a great relationship for years. To the point where, like he said, the garage gym, I was up at his garage gym training him. In his garage gym, him and his neighbor. Mm-hmm. Because like Santana, he followed my story. He's watched me morph into a bodybuilder. He knows he knows me very well when it comes to this. So he know that I went and got the information. He know I studied to show that self-approval, and he know I know what I'm doing.
Correct.
So for him to recommend me to you, and it's so crazy because me and Santana hadn't talked because of his illness or whatever, and I was trying to give my brother his space because a lot of times with men, you don't want to be over a man when he's dealing. You know, I could check on you, but just to be all the time on you, it's like, bro, I'm trying to figure this shit out. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny you should say that because I actually worked out a formula for this. You know, because you're actually right. I dealing with the shit I deal with every day, or whoever, whatever you guys deal with every day. I don't want to hear from people. You're not calling me with a solution. No. All I know is that, you calling me whatever it is. So what I've done, because what I found is that I still want you as my brother to be there for me. I don't know how to ask. So if I know that a brother needs me, and I've got someone that's going through this now, he's dealing with some things right now. And what I told him is this, I said, look, I'm going to call you Friday at this time. I'm going to call you every Friday at 6 o'clock. If you don't want to talk, don't answer. Absolutely. But I'm going to call you no matter what. If you don't answer, I'll know it's because you don't want to talk or you're busy, but you've seen the call.
That's right.
And I missed 2 Fridays ago because he didn't answer. I called him. He didn't pick up. Just 2 days ago, I called him. We were on the phone for an hour and a half. Right? That was his choice to answer. But my job was, hey, I'm going to show up for the next 3 months.
You answer.
You answer, but just so you know, I'm here if you feel like having this conversation. And if you don't, I get it because I'm in a place where I don't know if I can talk to you right now, So when I'm going through my shit.
Like my best friend, man, he's going through a lot, right?
Yeah.
And, they call me because they know I got broad shoulders, right? And to hear your best friend, man, say, man, I need to lay this on you. I don't feel like I look. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm having trouble with this, man. I'm masking something here. My kids have hurt my feelings and said this about them and this. I provide everything. I got to be the husband. I'm the only check in here. Like he's really going through something, man.
Yeah.
Mercy.
You know what I'm saying? And you have to learn how to, be a friend. Mm-hmm. It ain't always about trying to solve the problem. Sometimes you just need to let them get it out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I sat there and didn't say nothing, man, and watched my best friend of 25 years just break down.
Yeah.
And I didn't say a word. I just sat there for over an hour, man. I'm talking about bawling. Grown man bawling.
Yeah.
That's how much pressure they be put on. That's what leading us to these strokes.
Yeah, and to go back to circle right back to what we're saying, I love this analogy, the whole tea kettle thing.
Yeah.
The outlet needs to be doing, well, it's not the only thing, but physical fitness, wellness, taking care of ourselves, self-care.
Self-care.
It's so important because, again,
especially for us men, man. Mental health is so important for us men, just like you said, because we deal with a lot on a daily basis. If you have kids, you're dealing with a lot. Or if you have a lot of family members who just depend on you, it's a lot. You hear a lot, you deal with a lot, and trying to find ways to provide for all of these people. Because you hear the stuff, but you still got to find a way to provide. You still got to, even sometime when you ain't even got a way, even when you don't even know what to do, you still in your mind feel like, because I know this has been me. I've been on a faith walk for a long time. And sometime when it ain't been there, I'll say, Lord, I know you're going to do it. And no later than the day in, he done did it. Every single time. So
that's strong.
Yeah.
Talk to us about some of the resources you talked about earlier, because I'm really interested in, and I want to make sure everybody has info. Again, this will be in the show notes so people can go and check it out, click the links, etc. But you mentioned a clinic is as far as making sure we go and get tested, understanding what the blood panel, what that looks like, so we could know what the right path is and how to get started, checking out testosterone levels, etc. Where is that?
So,
I mean, that's for people who are here in Georgia, obviously.
So for the people here in Georgia, they have a couple of places that I recommend would be Ageless Men and Body Symmetry. Those are 2 places that I recommend. They do really good work. They'll do a blood panel on you. They'll test your blood and everything. and then they'll go over all the information with you. Now you dealing with doctors, like you're not dealing with no people off the street. You're dealing with certified personnel. These people know what they're doing.
They're not going to give you what you don't need.
No, they're not giving you anything that you don't need. You're not going to get performance dosages. You're only going to get what is recommended to bring your body to homeostasis, and that's it. You are going to sign a contract too, because it's going to state that you can only work with them. You can only use their stuff because their stuff is pharmaceutical based. It's all, been tested and approved. So they don't want any liability with you trying to do something else or use something else, and then they end up being sued.
And what you're referring to is people who get on TRT and they start to feel
or
really good, right? Or anything, right?
But because they may not recommend TRT, they may recommend another supplement or whatever. But whatever it is, it's all pharmaceutical based. It's all been FDA approved and all this other stuff. So it's like you don't have to worry about any issues.
Gotcha.
And they're the ones doing the monitoring. They're the ones doing the blood work. They'll be calling you, going over your panel and everything, so you can get a good understanding of what's really going on. That's one place. The two places I recommend. Also, you can definitely go see your primary care physician and ask for them to do just a basic blood panel on you, where it's just going to test your blood on different foods and stuff like that. And it'll be able to show you what you're allergic to, what you're not allergic to, and what your body can handle and what it cannot handle. So those are the two things that I definitely recommend that we do. Get your testosterone levels checked, get a blood panel done, and so that you kind of know what you're allergic to and what you're not allergic to. And, get with someone who is well-versed when it comes to personal training, fitness, and nutrition. Don't just randomly pick somebody. Ask these people, where have you been certified? How long have you been certified? And have you ever dealt with someone like myself? Me personally, I'm here for anybody who needs the help. You can find me on Instagram. I have a Muscle by the Pound page. It's muscle, BUY, the pound, because I believe you're buying muscle when you connect with me. I also have a personal page, which will be BMG_Chester. That's my more personal page, family, bodybuilding, and stuff like that. But you can definitely find me there as well. I do have online programs, so you'll see a lot of the links and stuff in my bio and whatnot. But a lot of people connect with me basically through word of mouth. I feel like word of mouth is the ultimate networking tool, because reason why word of mouth is more beneficial than a IG page or IG post or a Facebook page or post is because this person has an experience. It's just like a person going to a restaurant and they can already vouch that the food is good. Yeah. Because they've been going there for 3 to 4 weeks and they know for a fact the food is really good. Versus somebody saying, let's go check this new restaurant out. You go there and the food is terrible. So a lot of people connect with me through word of mouth. But you have all my social handles if need be.
I'll make sure that's posted in the show notes as well. Definitely. So make sure you give me that so I can make sure it's up there, because you'll work with people even if they're not. You can work with them online as well. You can design a program for people so they can go ahead. How difficult is that for someone to actually, you got someone in Dallas, Texas saying, hey, I want to work with you. I love what you do. Now you're really relying on them to do what they're supposed to do because you're not there to watch it.
Well, most of the time, people like that who are out of town, they're going to be more serious than somebody who's in town. Yeah. Because they're spending the money. They're spending the money blindly. That's what I would say. Yeah. So they got to be able to trust and believe in your process and trust and believe in who you are for them in order for them to invest into you. So most of the time, those people are going to do well because they're going to do everything that you told them to do because they want to know if it works. This is a point that I want to end with, but I tell people this all the time. How do you truly know if what I'm doing works if you never do it? The only way to value a teacher is by paying attention in class and doing the homework. Yeah. Because if I value the teacher in class and I do the homework, when it's exam time, I'll be ready. Yeah. But if I don't value the teacher and do the homework when it's exam time, I will not be ready. Yep. And I will be nervous and I'll be shaking and I'll be uneasy about taking this test. When everybody else like, man, I'm ready, man. I'm finna, man, come on, hurry up.
Go with C.
Yeah.
It's always C.
It's always C. Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Man, Jabari, my brother, thank you Junior, thank
Always,
you.
man.
And
Yeah, it was a
Chester, this
pleasure.
episode would not have been possible if you weren't here to, share and impart your wisdom on us. This is critical. So it's so extremely critical. Like I said, for me personally, and I know a lot of people, whether you're just coming up, like my son who's 19 years old, who needs to start to get in shape, he's really slim, or whether it's someone that like I mentioned earlier, might feel like, dude, it's too late for me, man. I've gone past this point, I might as well give up. It is what it is. Or someone who's battling something, an illness or whatever it is. Like, these moments are super critical. And I hope if people are listening to you and listening to your voice and what you're bringing, and again, going to these, to your social media pages and finding you or someone like you to work with so that we can stay healthy, man. We out here dropping like flies, not even taking care of ourselves.
As you can tell, there is so much more we can discuss and talk about. We'll definitely have to revisit this conversation and figure out what's really going on with us, with our health, our fitness, and especially our mental health. Join us next week as we will answer questions from young women who wrote into the show so we can give them a true perspective, a male perspective, one that is without an agenda, except to see you succeed. Take care of your mind, body, and soul. I love you, and I'll talk to you next week.
Today. I'm serious, man.
Go home and do 10 push-ups.